What made you break up with the person you thought you'd marry? FBI knocking at my door to arrest him for being a pedophile and a kiddie porn salesman. No joke. Yeah, that'll do it. March. Moved back to my country. Returning to US with a profession as a nurse, which I got completely free here. I never lost my English because I worked as an English teacher. And I love teaching so much I plan on doing that as a nurse as well. So all in all good things. So fucking happy he got busted before you two had children. Kinda hard when both of us have penises, lol. Doesn't really fit here because I did marry him in the end, but in retrospect I should have broken it off before it got that far. He wasn't who I thought he was, and I wasn't who he wanted me to be. He was depressed, obese, and had huge self-worth issues and some trouble with alcohol abuse. The relationship ended up being more of a caretaker patient thing, with him making me feel guilty when I left home for work, and spending spare time with someone else was unthinkable. Short term I figured he'd get better, but he refused therapy. He tried starting 4 studies, but lost interest sooner with each of them. With this getting progressively worse for 9 years, in the end he had no diploma, no income, was heavier than ever, drinking daily and relying on me for everything. Leaving was difficult, but it was the best thing I could have done for him. He finally started taking responsibility, started therapy, and now he's financially independent, taking care of his body, and doing all kinds of active things with friends. In the meantime I'm happily taken, and feel a lot more free to pursue my goals and dreams with a partner who's also aiming for the stars. Both of us were alcoholics. I met him at age 22, he was 26. Love at first sight. It was immediately understood without even speaking of it that we were just going to be together now, and that was that for 2.5 years. I have still never met someone I have loved entirely as much as I loved him. And when I broke things off with him, I honestly think a piece of my soul died, because I have truly never been the same since. My mom and dad were both alcoholics, and it fucked up my childhood. I had a drinking problem myself that I didn't understand yet. My drinking increased when we began dating because it seemed so normal to indulge more with him. The more I drank, the more neurotic and needy I became. The more he drank, the more he just faded away from the world. Seeing the man I loved really drunk would always trigger this really lonely and dark sadness inside me. I felt invisible, like I did to my parents my whole childhood. And he drank like every day. He never slept at night so much as he actually just kind of passed out. I always felt like I was sleeping next to a ghost when he was passed out from drinking. I felt like I was dating him, the perfect person, and then also his twin, who had nothing to give and no life inside of him. It was just a shell of him. It broke my heart constantly. After some time of cyclical arguments, usually while both of us were drunk, I started to realize he didn't feel like he had an issue, and I wasn't sure he would ever face it. I wanted to face my issues. I wanted a better life and better mental health. He was not in favor of making changes. He had socialized with the same group of guys since he was 5, all of whom drank to blackouts regularly, and his dad was a big drinker. They were from a privileged, upper middle class kind of circle where binge drinking was just normal because they went to more expensive bars and only drank craft beers and whatnot. IDK how to explain it, but there was a disconnect there between us. There was no part of his life that didn't revolve around alcohol, and I knew if I didn't get away from that lifestyle, I was going to end up miserable or maybe even dead. I still fight for my sobriety every day. He just got married last month. I saw photos from the wedding where he had a drink in his hand in every photo and the same blank drunk expression I could never cope with. I wish him the best, and I still miss him every day. I fucking hate alcohol for all of the shit in life that it absolutely destroys. She wanted to go to Florida for the Disney college program. She is a huge Disney nerd. She was too scared she would lose me. I convinced her to do it because if she didn't, she would regret it forever, and that no matter what happened I would still be here for her. 6 months and an engagement ring later she told me that while in Florida she realized she didn't love me like she thought she had. The ring is in a box in the back of a drawer in my dresser. Her worst fear came true. So did mine. She left you for Goofy. That's always been my fear too. HYUCK. Face down, ass up. That's the way we like to HYUCK. Wow, I can't believe how relevant this thread is to me right now. My dad just dropped me back off at my house from the hospital 45 minutes ago, so this literally just happened. His fiance was watching my son while he took me. The last 4 days, my fiance has decided to stay at her new coworker's house either overpass or until well into the morning. I told her that's ridiculously not okay to do when you're engaged, even though she claims it was just stress relief playing video games with a new guy friend. We also have a 4-month-old son that I've been taking care of for the past 4 days she's been gone, and I've been very sick with what I thought was a stomach bug. Well, this morning I fainted and she insisted I just get some rest and maybe go to urgent care. If I don't get better, then I lost my ability to keep any liquids down and was insistent that she take me to the hospital then go home and take care of our son. This was too much to ask though, as she'd already made plans to meet this guy again tonight. She walked to her work and left her family behind to go spend the night at his house. I told her that if she chooses to abandon her family to go spend time with another man, who I never accused her of cheating on me with despite the numerous red flags, then her family won't be waiting for her when she gets home. I involved someone in my family out of necessity, so my dad took me to the hospital and his fiance watched my son. My fiance's last text to me simply said I can't come home, so I guess I just lose everything. After multiple chests raised and an abdomen caught, it turns out I'm not sick, but the stress caused by my relationship started causing massive problems throughout my body. Oh, and apparently I have a kidney stone. I know it was petty, but when I got home I just sent her a picture of our son and told her that this was who she chose to give up on tonight. Edit. After reading a lot of these other posts, I'm realizing I should probably have left her much sooner. I was raped while in the military. Fiance also military. I told him what happened and he went out, had sex with someone, filmed it and showed me the film because I cheated on him, so he was making it even. I ran immediately. What in the fuck did I just read? Jesus Christ, good for you for leaving that. I was engaged to a guy I dated for 3 years and planning a destination wedding. He cheated with a mutual friend one night. His mom, who he lived with while we were apartment hunting, accidentally walked in on them in the middle of it while letting the dogs out. He didn't know his mom had seen, but his mom called me and told me what happened. He denied it when I confronted him, which made it worse. Called off the wedding and broke up, etc. Weirdly enough, he got married about 5 years later to someone else in the exact same destination wedding location / venue / package / colors I had always dreamed of and planned out for us. He must have kept my planning binder and just reused it or something. Edit. Whoa, this blew up. Made a clarity edit because guy did not sleep with his mom. Answering some questions here. Could his mom have been wrong / was it a plot to break you up? No. He finally came clean after I said his mom had walked in on him and called me, and the mutual friend admitted it to me too when I confronted her. His mom was basically sobbing when she called me because she didn't want us to break up but knew she should tell me. I'm actually sad about losing the mom so much more than my ex. She was awesome. Some other things were revealed about him later too, like he lied about finishing his degree at university and had failed out instead. I dodged a big bullet for sure. What happened to the mutual friend? Well, she and I definitely stopped being friends. She wasn't even apologetic when I confronted her. She had also been in a relationship that she broke off. They ended up dating for a while after that, which was a bit of a mess because my ex and I ran a large well-known community together. The rumors of what happened got out, but I attempted to be civil about it for the sake of the community. They, however, parked in the front window of the weekly venue and made out for everyone to see as a way of announcing their relationship. Super classy. What happened to me? I ended up moving across the country a few months later, meeting the man who is now my awesome husband of 8 years, and we just had our first kid last year. I'm much happier with this outcome. That was awesome of his mom for telling you. Some parents know their kid is a twat and try to do their best. Hi mom.